welcome to my channel, Wisconsin Hugs. And my name is Tony Grillo, and well, welcome to the new year, right? It's been, I don't know, hopefully all of you had a great weekend. I know I had a great weekend, spent it with the gal, and now I'm in Kentucky, and behind my window, I'm in Owensboro, Kentucky. I'm here for the night. I gotta deliver a load tomorrow for a load of food that goes to, I don't know, elementary schools for kids. So, and it's raining pretty good out here, but it's nice and warm. It's like 56 degrees, so I'm loving it here, but I wish I could get outside and walk. My doggy, I know he wishes it as well, don't you, DJ? I don't even know where he is. He's somewhere here. So, there's been, I've been kind of following all your true crime channels. Ooh, that was lightning, pretty good lightning shot there. And I have to tell you that you guys are putting out some really interesting stuff, especially in regards to the Idaho 4 massacre. And now we have a suspect in custody. That's Brian Kohlberger, 28 years old, PhD. I have a college education myself. I have just a bachelor's in business administration. And I think what really piques my interest is the fact that this guy has way more education than I do. You know, a master's and a PhD, and he was on the dean's list for both. Wow. I mean, wow. You know, and you know, if I'm wrong on some things, I hope some of you guys will correct it in the comments. I know you guys. That's why I love you guys. You know, because I want to make sure I'm getting it right. I want to make sure my viewers are getting the right info. But I'm going to talk about this guy a little bit. You know, I'm a dad. You know, I had twin boys, and I have a daughter, and then I had 2 stepkids, and all the kids, you know, grew up doing very well. And I couldn't be more proud of them. And I like to think that, you know, I had something to do with that. I don't know. At least I didn't mess them up. And, you know, they turned out to be bad apples. But I always like to think that they will fondly remember their childhood, and that's you know, that's the best you can do as a father. It just blows my mind that this guy with a PhD could have committed this crime, but obviously the police they're not going to put, you know, they really believe he's the guy. You know, they really believe he's the man. And now we got to sit there, and this is going to be a really fascinating case because, you know, Brian Laundrie, we never got a trial. You know, we never got to see a trial with him. You know, he committed suicide, but we did get to see a trial with, you know, with that what was that guy in Colorado that had the mistress. I can't believe I already forgot his name. And then we have these other cases with these moms that, you know, their kids went missing, and there was big trials on there too. And so this is going to be, you know, another really interesting case. And I guess, you know, I'm sitting here driving my truck, and I'm trying to figure out why. Why would somebody do something like that? Why would they, you know, hurt someone, kill someone? Why would they destroy families? You know, I don't get it. I really don't get it. And you know, and I, you know, I try to. Like as a manager, when I used to be a manager, you always try to figure out what makes people tick. You know, same with coaches, very successful coaches. They they use psychology and they try to figure out what it is that makes a person tick, and then they use that to motivate that player to be a better athlete, better whatever sport he's playing, to do better. And they find it. Some people like to be talked to very softly. Others, you need to kick them in the ass and piss them off. So it really depends on, and then they get fired up because they're all pissed off, and then they go out and they kick butt, I remember Miracle on Ice, Herbie Brooks. There was a guy there, John McClanahan. He played for the Gophers for Herb Brooks, and then he was on the U.S. Olympic hockey team. And Herbie had a deal with him. Herbie realized, if I'm mad at the team, or is Rob McClanahan. He says, if I'm mad at the team, I'm going to yell at you, and I'm going to use your last name, McClanahan. So if I'm saying, McClanahan, get off your ass and move, McClanahan, quit being lazy. The players, he found out that when he yelled at somebody, even if it was unfounded, he yelled at them unfoundedly, the players would rally around, and McClanahan was very popular on the team. Everybody loved the guy. So they didn't like seeing McClanahan getting yelled at, especially when they thought, why is coach yelling at him? He's not doing anything, We're the ones that are screwing up, but he's getting yelled at. So then the players would motivate, and they would rally around McClanahan, and they'd play well. And then if Herb Brooks yelled Rob, then he was yelling at Rob personally. He was saying, I want you to do this, or I want you to do that, or, quit being a candy ass. One time he called him a candy ass because Rob had, kind of hurt his leg in one of the games, and Herb's like, well, can you still skate? And he's like, my leg hurts. And then Herb called him a candy ass, and Rob got so mad, he threw the gloves off and ran at the coach and wanted to punch him, and started screaming at him. And Herb walked out of the locker room. He goes, well, that went well. And the team wound up, coming back from behind, and I think they tied that game. That was the very first game that they played. They tied Sweden, and then they went on to win the gold medal. But, Herb was a master of psychology and for motivating people. It's the same thing in the business world, especially if you're a manager. Everybody, you work as a family, you work as a team, and you got to find everybody, each person's motivation and how they want to be talked to. You treat them with respect. You don't ask them to do anything that you wouldn't do yourself, and you also show love to those people, and if something's bothering them, you ask them if something's bothering them. You don't let them just walk around mad all day, at work. But I'll admit, I have never known a killer. I've never known one. I've never been friends with one. I've never had one in my circle. So it is really hard for me to understand why somebody would kill. I don't get it. I don't get why kids would walk into their school and shoot their classmates. I mean, even if they've been bullied and picked on, there's other ways to deal with that, not, shoot up your classmates, especially innocent kids that, had nothing to do with your situation. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to a lot of you true crime channels, and you guys have kind of been doing a good job painting a picture of what maybe was going on in this guy's head. And from what I'm getting out of all of it is that he apparently he was a very lonely person, a very depressed person, resorted to drugs heavily, into drugs. Apparently he was a heavy-set kid and lost a bunch of weight and got himself trim, but that wasn't enough to make him happy. He was still empty on the inside, still lonely, and depressed. And a lot of depressed people, you gotta go get help, people. If you're depressed, go get help. There's nothing wrong with that, getting help. But having thoughts of murdering people, that's not healthy at all. And you don't want to be the guy that ruins, destroys somebody's family. Now those Christmases, can you imagine those families? Their Christmases had to have just been the worst ever. Because their family members weren't there to be with them, and they were needlessly killed. Now, from what I understand too, is I guess maybe some of the kids that lived in that house, they were kind of a party house. Maybe that was a place that you could go to get drugs. It was where you went to party. I heard some stories where some of the kids that lived in that house maybe weren't the nicest people in the world. I don't know. Still no justification for killing somebody, but I heard something about that they might have razzed people, or maybe jokingly cut some people down. I don't know. I heard that this guy, this kosher guy, he maybe had one date with Kaylee, and he made a comment like, "Go make me some quesadillas, bitch," and she got so offended that she's like, "Yeah, okay, I don't want nothing to do with you ever again." And maybe he, saw how happy they were, her and her friends, how beautiful she was, and how beautiful her friends were. And he thought, if I can't have something like that, then I'm going to destroy it. So all those people, they will never be able to enjoy what they got. And maybe that was his mentality. I don't know. Another thing that, it's been brought up in some of the, the true crime stuff is the fact that he might be he might have wanted to get caught, and so he committed the crimes. He wanted to get caught, and then he wants to be the PhD guy who actually defends himself in court and saves his own neck. Saves like he will, like all the charges will be dropped, and he'll save himself, and he will defend himself, and he'll be innocent. And I've heard that theory thrown out there too. So I think that's makes sense to me. I'm a truck driver. I don't know. I've dealt with a lot of people in the trucking business. Shippers and receivers, and sometimes if you're just super nice to these people, they'll work with you. It's like you catch more flies with honey than you do, yelling at them. I think that's, I don't know where I got that phrase from. I don't know if you young kids have heard that one or not, but I did use the word hoot at my party, New Year's party, and my girlfriend's brother, he's Guatemalan, he didn't even know what that word was. He thought I was like calling him something bad. And then somebody else had to tell him that no, that's like a 1930s word for he thinks you're funny, and so it is funny how something can trigger somebody, just even a misperception of something, can just trigger people, or a hot button trigger, talking to a friend of mine, and somehow or another got on the topic of abortion, and I don't care what side you fall on. I've already stated my opinion on it. I'm not going to do anything on here about it, but this person was so triggered, by some of the things that I had to say about it, and they told me to F off, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to change my opinion. There's nothing you can say, and obviously, I'm not, you're not going to change mine. And so, but this guy, obviously he was triggered. It was a crime of rage. I think it was a crime of jealousy. I think maybe it was a crime of depression. It is a weird depression type thing because, like I've had, unfortunately I've lost friends to depression, and that's usually what they wind up doing when they're depressed is, they unfortunately take their own lives, and that's so sad when that happens because they have so much to live for, they don't even know it. But this guy here, this is something entirely I've never seen. Well, and I'm sure other people have done it, but it's just, it boggles my mind, the rage and the fact that, he wanted to ruin families. I don't know. And, and it seems like this guy has been thinking about this, planning this for a long time. I mean, apparently he had a Reddit thing where he was doing a survey for his, his thesis. And he was trying to, he wanted people to do a survey about, their mindset when they did certain crimes, and what did they do, how did they plan it, everything. He was asking a lot of detailed stuff on that, and and then I also caught on another show that apparently he was at a grocery store not long after he committed the crimes, and he was wearing gloves at the grocery store. So, that tells me that, he was planning this. He had this plan, and he was just waiting for the right moment. And unfortunately, those poor four kids, they just in the wrong place, the wrong time. And maybe, somebody else on the channel said, he wasn't very tough looking, and maybe he was trying to, puff his chest up and show everybody how tough he was, that he could do this, commit this crime, and now look at me, everybody look at me, look what I did, like he wanted attention, like nobody ever gave him any attention, maybe that's something there too, he wanted this attention, he got it now, now he's the center of attention. His face is everywhere, everybody's talking about him, and that's so sad, there was one other thing I was going to mention about him, but I forgot. I gotta pause this. What I wanted to say, I found it interesting how they got his DNA evidence. Apparently, they had gone to what's that thing called where you everybody, like, you can go on this big national database, and heredity.com or whatever, and you could find out who your ancestors are through your DNA. And so they were able to go on that database, and they had a suspect in mind. They thought it was him, but they looked at some of his family members that had done that thing, that genealogy thing, and so their DNA was in there, and they were able to match up, his DNA that was found on the crime site with the DNA that was already on record, already there, and they knew it was him that was there. And wow, that is some really fascinating detective work right there. You right, DJ? How you doing, buddy? Yeah. So there he is, everybody. My dog, DJ. Okay, we're gonna hit the sack, right, buddy? We're gonna hit the sack, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna hit the sack. He's such a good boy. Okay, bye, everybody. Wisconsin hugs.